Ladies and gentlemen, 777 Technologies delivers results. This presentation comes as quickly as we could muster on the heels of our most recent presentation focusing on Codex integrity, in which we demonstrated the improved logic of Codex handling at matrixencryption.com, whereby manual tampering with the URL is prevented both from accessing codices outside the range of codices in the database and from accessing codices belonging to other users. Furthermore, the Codex logic was improved, making it so that codices stored by users can be replaced and used immediately without any interference in the production environment from previously deleted, recently used codices. We explained that this was accomplished by calling upon codices from the database within respective functions, rather than remotely through separate functions that passed codices along as a global variable. We went on to say that the only service data stored on matrixencryption.com were the codices, and that plain text, key, and encryption data were not stored at any time. From this, we suggested that we could provide the option for users to paste their codices at the encryption and decryption panels respectively, and that this would mean that no user's service data whatsoever would ever need to be stored at any time. Today, we are pleased to announce that that is what we have done. At the Codex activation panel, users now have the option to activate their stored codex, if any, or to proceed directly to the encryption or decryption panel, as the case may be, and to enter their plaintext or encryption data, to enter their key, and to enter their custom codex. Inspired by our success with retrieving codices within their respective functions, we further improved the encryption and decryption logic by compartmentalizing all respective operations within singular encryption and decryption functions. No outside variables from external functions are now required. These two singular functions were then stripped of their state variables because for a long time we had been achieving service consistency of outputs via a combination of limited global variable use and Flask session state variables. While this solution achieved consistency, it did so at the great expense of limiting data input size. Flask sessions bundle and process data in cookies, and so the most we could ever handle on the web app without error was about 300 characters of input plain text. With our streamlined singular functions and self-contained variables, a state session is not invoked, and we were able to blow the gate wide open on the maximum size of input data. Currently, we have the maximum plaintext input size set to 5,000 characters, which corresponds to keys up to 10,000 digits in length, thus providing users with vastly improved usability. This cap is arbitrary, and we can increase it at any time if users decide they'd like to work with larger data. Upon encrypting and decrypting, the user is taken to the results page as before, but the new caveat is that encryptions and decryptions are now stored in the database. It was the only way to transport results to the results pages. To compensate, we added a delete button below the save button so that users can save output data to their device and then wipe away their stored data from the database. Only one row per user is needed, so there is never any multiple output storage, and cycling through the service again saves over any previously stored encryption and decryption data. Finally, for codex mapping, we replaced our classic but repetitive for loop logic in the singular functions with more efficient, compact lines of code. This should reduce the data processing load and make the service run a little faster and more smoothly. Now, we could integrate our file encryption capabilities onto matrixencryption.com, but 777 Technologies is a business, and we need to leave a little something to be desired. Users already receive a 1-month free trial of our new and improved patented encryption service, and are free to browse our products on the products page at any time. All payments are secured and processed by PayPal, and customers are automatically routed back to our secure download page after purchase to download your product. Customers also receive a payment confirmation email from PayPal and an email from 777 Technologies containing a secure download link to your product for backup. Make sure to check your spam folder if you don't see it. Create an account today and check out our social media forum, where users can post to the public wall, find friends, and send private messages compatible with our encryption service. So users can send and receive true end-to-end encrypted messages right on our site. Private message boxes also have a delete button that clears all stored message data. Look out, Facebook, we're coming for your users. And look out, America, because 777 Technologies is leading the way towards decentralized cryptography and greater freedom and autonomy for all, where you and you alone control the means to protect your digital data. The fully realized form of matrix encryption showcases quantum immune, non-deterministic data mapping, both for plain text and files. And 777 Technologies is slowly carving out our place in history. Join us today. Okay, here's our demo. We are logged in. We're going to go straight to encryption. To the encryption gateway, we have the choice between factory codex and custom codex. And here's the update. You can submit a codex as opposed to confirming the codex that you have stored in the database. And so we have a message prepared. Our first message is 5,000 characters. It is an excerpt from the Urantia book. I just chose that randomly. And of course, we need to input a key and a codex. The plain text is 5,000 characters, so without holographic character mapping, the key needs to be 10,000 digits long. So we copy and paste a 10,000 digit key, and then we paste our 81 unique character codex, and I added a validate button here. So if the codex is less than 81 characters, it's rejected, and if any characters are duplicated, the codex will also be rejected. You don't have to validate the codex. That's just, if you weren't sure that it was valid. Now we're ready to encrypt. We have the plain text, the key, and the codex, and very simply, we just click encrypt and OK. Encryption complete. There's the data. It's 10,000 digits long. This is our encrypted message. Now, we could click the save button, but that opens up a personal window, so I'm just going to copy and paste it into a text file. And so we clear that data from the database with the delete button there, that clear storage data. Now we're going to go to decrypt and use custom codex, submit our own codex. This is the update where you can submit your codex, right? So the codex is not coming from the database. It's not being stored. The key isn't being stored. The only thing that's being temporarily stored is the output, but as soon as you save it to a file or copy and paste it wherever you need it to go, then you just hit that delete button and it's totally cleared from the database. This form is smart. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I just showed you that if you put anything other than an integer in the key field, it says that both entries have to be integers. This is in the case of the decryption panel. And we need to use the same codex again. There are 81 factorial permutations of the codex, and we're just using the inverse factory codex. And so everything is ready. We decrypt and we obtain the original message down to the last character. And to prove the point, we have copied the decryption, pasting it into a new text file. We're going to put it side by side with the original message and show by clicking back and forth that they are identical. 5,000 characters from first to last, identical. So we don't need that. We're going to not save there. Okay. Now, don't forget to clear your output data. Cleared from the database. Now let's go home and encrypt one more time. So we, we have a message prepared for the private messaging in the social media portion of matrix encryption. And there it is. Welcome. Matrix encryption represents a new path. And just as before, we need a codex and a key, but the key in this case only has to be 500 characters. This key, by the way, is the digits of pi behind the decimal. See that 14159? That's the digits of pi. So I just picked that key, and the first 500 digits, you can go beyond the required key length, and the program will trim the additional digits down to the appropriate length. And so there's the the encryption. And we're not going to save this to a file. We just copy it to our clipboard. And so here's the social media forum. You can see posts. This is how the forum currently looks. And as you can see, there's an edit and delete button if it's your post. If it's somebody else's post, you cannot edit or delete that post or posts. And let's just create a sample post here. And it magically appears. Sample post, message content 111. We can edit it because it is our post. Edit instantly appears, and if we want to delete it, it's gone. There is a Find Friends tab. Anyone who is already on your friends list will not appear here, but you can request friends, and you can go to the friend panel here. You can see your friends, friend requests. We click a friend, and we paste this encrypted message and send it to them. So we imagine logging out and logging in with the other user, and so that user, if it's an encrypted message, they obviously have to decrypt it. I have a little trouble here thinking that I need to only copy the the numbers, and it doesn't seem to want to let me do that, but I just was like, oh, I'll just delete the U colon out of it. But when we paste it here, we can see that only the numbers were copied, even though it looked like it was copying like the whole thing. But I think there's a way to have it copy to clipboard whenever you click on it, and I want to make that an upgrade. Nevertheless, we need to use the same codex and key. This is the inverse factory codex. We paste it into the codex field. We don't need to test it. We know that it's valid. We enter the pi key, and we get the data. So again, we're imagining being the recipient of the message in the private messaging box. We take it and are able to decipher the message. We then can clear the data either side can do this, clear the data that is, and that concludes the demonstration here. We got to see the long encryption, the short encryption, and a little bit of the forum. This is the home page and what it looks like when you're not logged in, and you can download the original patented version for desktop. It has a GUI and it's totally free. We encourage you to check it out. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.